Hey friends, Minnie here with Compass Real Estate. I am sitting here with Josh Howen and Chris Ruhnke. I'm the certified public accountant. These are the experts in tax right here locally in Cypress. And so we want to kind of talk about what that means for your bottom line when you're filing your taxes, with the increased homestead exemption, what that means for like 65 plus senior exemption, and how you can plan to buy your home this year as well. It starts right here when you're filing your taxes. Josh, tell us about this exemption.
Sure. Last year there was some lobbying by people who pay property taxes like you, and we finally got a win for the good guy. So we got some property tax exemption increases that save you some tax. So there's a couple different categories of increases. Your general exemptions going up, I think it's increasing by about $40,000. So that exemption increase is very helpful. It saves a little bit on your tax bill depending on how much you pay in a various jurisdiction.
Yes.
So that definitely saves you some money. There's also some caps and some changes for older and disabled people. So certain taxes are locked when you hit a certain age. So I believe school taxes are locked after a certain point, 65. So that's very helpful.
I think that's very mysterious world to me, and I'm sure that they can contact their local HCAD or the appraisal district to get more details on that. But that is something that I get asked a lot.
HCAD and the different agencies like FCAD, which is Fort Bend County, MCAD, Montgomery County, HCAD stands for Harris County. They're all very informative. They'll send you out mailers with information about your taxes during the spring or after the spring. So it's very important that you pay attention to the letters that you get from the county. But you can always check the county's website and go and see the information about your property to find out what things are happening on your property and things like that.
And I think I do want to add for those of us who can take advantage of the homestead exemption, the senior exemption, you guys want to make sure that you actually file for it first.
Oh, absolutely. That's very important. And as I understand it, an excellent real estate agent will bring in that type of attention to their clients. And I feel like somebody here might be doing that. That's very important. So when you purchase a home, no one is going to file these pieces of paperwork for you with the county. So your homestead exemption,
that's a good point.
Your 65-year exemption, your disability exemptions, you have to do that yourself.
Yes.
Fantastic real estate agents, such as Minnie here,
oh, thank you,
will help you with that. They're not necessarily going to prepare it for you, but they'll remind you, hey, don't forget, you just bought a house, you're moving in, you need to file a homestead exemption. So a little bit of information about that, because Chris and I and you have a lot of experience in the real estate world, which is very illustrative for us. But if you just bought a home for the first time, or you're getting ready to buy a home for the first time, you might not know what does this mean. The homestead exemption is where you tell the county it's your homestead. So you live there. It's going to be your primary residence.
Right.
So when you live in the home and it's your primary residence and you fill out the homestead exemption application, you tell the county you're going to live there. So the county likes it when people live and own their own homes. They encourage it. So single family home ownership is very, very important. So you get a tax break, which is great. So, but like you were saying, you have to file for it. So if you don't file for it, you don't get the tax break.
You don't get it.
So if you're older, like we mentioned, the 65-year-old exemption, and then if you have disabilities or things like that, or if you're a veteran, there's special exemptions for veterans.
Yeah.
It's important to file the paperwork. So we're in Harris County specifically, so we'll talk about HCAD, but HCAD's website has hyperlinks on their website for filling out those exemptions. You can even do it on your phone, which is really nice. You can fill out the paperwork and mail it in. You can do it on the website. They even have an app.
They have an app.
They do. It's very easy.
The most easiest thing is, once you moved in, change your driver license, download the app, go to homestead exemption. It's going to ask you to take the picture of your driver license to verify and give it, sometimes because they need to update the record and such, and they'll let you know, okay, now you are exempt.
Exactly. So it's a very easy process. To that end, CPA firms typically don't prepare that paperwork for you, but we can. It's something we can do. Real estate agents don't typically do it for you, but it's something that's very easy. It's one of the few things where we try to help the client be like, this is something that we think that you could do. It's important for you to take control of. If you need our assistance, we can of course help. But filling out those exemptions is very important. It helps save you taxes. One key here is if you're listening to this and you've lived in a house for a couple of years and you're like, I don't even know what this means. What's a homestead exemption? Am I missing the boat? You have not missed the boat. You can take a ferry out to the boat and get back on. You can file late exemption. So there's late exemptions where you can go to the county and you can fill out the late exemption and you attach all the paperwork that you're supposed to, and they'll actually give you money back that you've overpaid for previous years.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yes.
How many years does it go back?
I believe it's 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. You still get your money back.
Yeah. So that's very helpful. So if you haven't filed that exemption, now's the time. You want to get on top of that as soon as you can. Before April 15th is the typical deadline for taxes, but I believe the homestead exemption is also due by April 15th. So you need to get that in. And if you do the late exemption, they'll accept it. You just tell them when you moved in. They might ask for some paperwork, like a utility bill, copy of your driver's license, things like that. That's very important to take care of. That's actually an excellent segue since we're talking about taxes.
Sure.
So the taxes themselves, that process, we'll talk just a little bit about it. If you file a late exemption, it takes time. So the county's not just going to be like, well, 30 seconds later, and I'm going to write you a check.
Of course.
It would be nice if the government worked like that, but they don't. So you file that late exemption. It takes some time. They'll eventually cut you checks. Takes a while. They'll cut you the check. I don't think they usually write the checks to the escrow company. If you have an escrow, if you have a mortgage with an escrow, they'll typically write that check to you. But that's really important. One of the big things about home affordability is how much are you paying on your property taxes. Right. So if you take care of getting this homestead exemption filed, it'll save you taxes. It'll save you on your monthly payment. The payment that you make every month, if you finance with a mortgage, a portion of that is going to be your escrow, which includes property tax. So if you get that late exemption filed, you get a refund. They'll recalculate your escrow budget. It takes a while, doesn't it, Chris?
No, yes. Well, at least a good year. So at the end of the year, seems to be the case.
Either way, you'll still get your money back.
You
will.
will.
It's a little longer, but that's why you get on it.
Yeah.
File as soon as possible.
That's something we actually look at when we intake clients and we prepare tax return. If we prepare somebody's stuff and we're looking at their property tax receipts, and they don't have a homestead exemption on there, we try to catch that.
That's when you're like, what's happening?
Exactly.
You file.
We've had people where we took in their work and we've saved like literally $10,000 because they didn't do their homestead exemption.
That is a win.
We noted, hey, you got to get this taken care of. And they're like, oh man, this is going to pay my CPA fees for years.
Oh yeah, and that's the advantage of work with the professionals. The certified accountant versus your online tax filing. So this is something that a human being would catch and ask you, and then advise you accordingly.
We prepare tax returns, which means we put eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
Your property taxes that you pay on your house are tax adjacent, which means we're aware of it. It comes into our realm. Typically, like, we don't pay your property taxes for you, things like that. The taxes that you pay can interface with your income tax. When you go to file your taxes and you're gathering all your information, the property taxes are important because if you itemize, it can save you some money on your taxes. So that is something that we wanted to talk about because it's adjacent to the things that we do at our firm.
Absolutely. So tax planning is very important.
It is.
Start beginning of the year.
That's right. Right now's the time. We're in January.
Right now is a great time, you guys.
So talking about the taxes specifically, property taxes is a hot button item. If you've been paying attention to media and news articles and things like that when they're talking about tax laws, one of the things that you hear a lot is SALT. And I'm not talking about how you make your lunch a little bit more tasty. So SALT in the tax world means state and local income tax. It can be sales tax. It can be property tax. If you live in a state that has an income tax, that would be your income tax portion. So we live in Texas. A lot of people are not from Texas. They move here, so they have more familiarity with state income tax. So since we don't experience that, a lot of people aren't aware of it. But those taxes, it's sales tax, local tax like property taxes, and then income taxes for your state. The reason that that's important is under the tax laws that we've been experiencing the past couple of years, there's a limit. You can only deduct up to $10,000 of SALT taxes.
Okay.
For a lot of people who live in Harris County, if you have a house of any decent size, your property tax bill is gonna be $10,000.
Exactly.
For many Texas homeowners, you're capped at the $10,000, and your other itemized deductions have to go on top of that. Well, one of the things that was changed last year with the One Big Beautiful Bill Act was we have a temporary increase for how much SALT tax you can deduct.
Okay.
That temporary limit is up to $40,000. For most taxpayers, it's $40,000. There's some special situations that might modify that, but generally speaking, you can deduct up to $40,000. So the reason that's important is if you otherwise might not be able to itemize, but if you strategically plan when you pay your taxes, like if you talk to your CPA and they help you strategically plan for that, you might get more benefit out of paying those taxes. So that's where we shine, is when we talk about those types. So that increased limit is in effect for several years. They may extend the limit when the time comes for it to expire. That's very popular when tax laws are popular, is they'll extend limit like that. But that's the really important thing about the SALT tax, is they increase the limit, and that's very beneficial if you're getting ready to itemize.
Awesome.
How much you pay in your property taxes and how much you pay in your mortgage interest and how much you give to charity, those things are all itemized. So being able to deduct more of a category that a lot of homeowners already pay.
Great information. I did not know that.
Well, I'm glad to help. That's what we're here for. We love to help. We love to talk to you.
So if you guys are hearing all of this information and you're like me, I know nothing about tax filing and things, and your minds are blown, come and meet with us. We're gonna be hosting our happy hours at Frio Grill January 28th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Come and chat with us, come and chat with these guys, kind of pick their brain a little bit. And if you need their services, they're there to help. See you then.